The whispers begin in the shadows of history, a chorus of dread rising from ancient texts, modern visions, and the cold logic of machines. 2025. A year etched in prophecy, not by one voice, but by a haunting convergence of seers across time. Jeane Dixon first sounded the alarm. A global reckoning, she warned, where economies crumble, nations fracture, and the earth itself rebels. But hers is no lone cry in the dark. Centuries earlier, Nostradamus penned quatrains dripping with cryptic warnings of fires from the sky and kings unmade. Omens scholars now link to two Qs. 2025. Modern psychics report identical nightmares. Cities swallowed by floods, skies choked with ash, a silent clock counting down to what? Even artificial intelligence, that pinnacle of human ingenuity, churns out probabilistic nightmares. Algorithms, forecasting societal collapse, war, and climate cascades, all peaking in 2025. Why this year? Why now? The answer lies in a sinister pattern. Ancient astrologers foretold a grand conjunction in 2025, a rare alignment of planets last seen before the fall of empires. The Mayans, whose 2012 prophecy once gripped the world, hinted at a second cycle ending 13 years later. 2025. Governments deny it. Scientists dismiss it as coincidence. Yet the threads tighten. Satellite data reveals polar ice vanishing faster than predicted. Stock markets tremble at cryptic tweets from shadowy figures. Anonymous insiders leak documents about underground bunkers, supply stockpiles, and a global elite fleeing to New Zealand. Are these the first tremors of Dixon's prophecy, or a self-fulfilling spiral of fear? One truth chills the blood. From Nostradamus's quill to silicon circuits, the message is the same. 2025 looms. A year where past, present, and future collide. A year the prophets agree we may not survive. The question isn't if the storm comes, but who or what is already steering its path. Listen closely. The whispers are growing louder. 3 shadows of prophecy stretch across centuries, weaving a tapestry of dread that binds the past to the precipice of 2025. It begins with Jeane Dixon, the enigmatic psychic whose name alone conjures both reverence and terror. In the hushed tones of a confession, her 2025 vision unfurls. Economic collapse, markets hemorrhaging value overnight as currencies dissolve into digital dust, natural disasters, continents scorched by wildfires and drowned by tsunamis, their rhythms twisted by a climate gone rogue, a leader's assassination, a single gunshot that ignites global chaos, toppling regimes like dominoes. Dixon's words are not mere speculation. They carry the weight of a woman who allegedly foresaw JFK's death, the rise of Reagan, and the fall of the Soviet Union. Her track record is a litany of uncanny hits, punctuated by eerie silence where her predictions failed. But here, in the trembling dawn of the 2020s, her warning feels different, sharper, final. Economic collapse, natural disasters, a leader's assassination, a voice intones, each syllable dripping with portent. Yet just as the listener leans closer, breath held, the narrative twists. But her prophecy isn't new. It's part of a pattern. Pantii, camera plunges into darkness. When light returns, it's the flicker of a candle over aged parchment. Nostradamus's quatrains. The screen fractures into symbols. Lions, eagles, crumbling towers. Scholars have long wrestled with his riddles, but now a new theory emerges. In Century 9, Quatrain 55 whispers of the great city abandoned to the flames and a chiefless people in a year marked by the seventh number. Cryptologists dissect the math. 7x289, a coded reference to Nostradamus' era, lands us at 2025 degrees. Coincidence? Or proof that the 16th century seer foresaw Dixon's apocalypse? The screen fills with overlapping texts. Dixon's interviews, Nostradamus' verses, their phrases bleeding together like a seance gone wrong. Fires from the sky. A throne overturned. The hour of reckoning. The connection feels too precise, too orchestrated. Did Nostradamus write about Dixon's prophecy centuries ago? A voice hisses. The clues are hidden in plain sight. A montage erupts. The fall of Rome, the Black Death, the World Wars, each preceded by prophecies now retrofitted to 2025. History, it seems, is a loop, and humanity stumbles toward the same cliff again and again. But the conspiracy deepens. The screen glitches, shifting to the sterile glow of server farms and the feverish eyes of modern seers. Psychics livestream tearful warnings of the year the veil tears. Astrologers chart Saturn's return to Aquarius in 2025, a transit synonymous with upheaval. Then, the unthinkable. Machines join the chorus. AI models, trained on millennia of data, spit out probabilistic nightmares. Food shortages by Q2 2025. Nuclear brinkmanship by autumn. A point of no return for the climate. One algorithm, dubbed Oracle 7 even maps the assassination Dixon described to a 94.3% geopolitical probability. Even tech predicts disaster, the narrator growls. Are machines now prophets? The question hangs, unanswered, as the U screen splits. On one side, a tarot reader laying out the Tower card, symbol of catastrophe. On the other, lines of code scrolling too fast to read. Both hum with the same foreboding. This is no longer about lone visionaries. It's a convergence, a symphony of doom conducted by forces unseen. Ancient astrologers wrote of the Great Mutation in 2025, when Jupiter and Saturn align in a rare air sign, heralding societal rebirth through chaos. The Hopi spoke of a fifth world emerging from collapse. Even the Mayan calendar, long misread for its 2012 hype, hints at a secondary cycle culminating in 2025, a date scholars now linked to solar maxima and magnetic pole shifts. The evidence is fractal. The deeper you look, the more connections spiral. Secret societies whisper of a grand architect's plan. Conspiracy forums buzz about shadow elites, orchestrating crises to cement control. And at the center, always, 2025. A year that glows like a cursed talisman in humanity's collective psyche. Yet the most chilling revelation is not the prophecies themselves, but their echo in the present. Satellite feeds show ice caps retreating faster than models predicted. Whistleblowers leak Pentagon reports warning of catastrophic grid failure by mid-decade. The wealthy quietly buy land in Patagonia and New Zealand, regions tagged as climate havens. Are these the first ripples of Dixon's storm? Or is the world, hypnotized by prophecy, sleepwalking into its own demise? The line between prediction and provocation blurs. When an AI forecasts civil unrest in 2025, does it know, or does its forecast become a blueprint for chaos? When Nostradamus' verses go viral, do they inspire the very assassins they foretell? The screen fades to black. A single sentence burns in crimson. 2025 is not a year, it's a mirror. What stares back is a species haunted by its own fragility, weaving narratives of doom to make sense of the senseless. But what if the prophets, past, present, and algorithmic, are not warning us of the future? What if they're summoning it? The music swells, a dissonant choir of human voices and machine static. The final words slither into the listener's ear, half threat, half lullaby. You've heard the whispers. You've seen the pattern. Will you heed the warning, or become its pawn? The storm is not coming. It's already here. Scorched skies, flooded cities, riots boiling over in the streets. The world screams in a language we've forgotten how to decipher. But Jeane Dixon's ghost would recognize these signs. In 2025, she warned, the unraveling would begin, not with a bang, but with a cascade of disasters so precise, so familiar, that even skeptics now pause. Look at the headlines. Wildfires devour entire nations. Their flames so vast they rewrite weather patterns. Oceans, swollen and vengeful, swallow coastlines whole. Governments collapse overnight. Their leaders toppled not by coups, but by hashtags and AI-generated deepfakes. Is this the beginning of Dixon's prophecy? A voice demands, slicing through a montage of burning forests and screaming crowds. The countdown has started. The screen flickers with dates. 2023, 2024, 2025 vice. Each year bleeds into the next, a drumbeat of doom. Yet the true horror lies not in the chaos itself, but in its orchestration. Above the smoke and ruin, the heavens themselves align. On October 8, 2025, Jupiter and Saturn will converge in Gemini, a high grand conjunction, last seen in 1346, the year the Black Plague began its march across Europe. Astrophysicists hesitate to call it an omen, but their data chills the blood. This alignment will exert gravitational tides stronger than any in 6 centuries, distorting Earth's magnetosphere. Ancient cultures knew such events as harbinger, stars. The Maya tied them to the collapse of the fourth sun. The Vedas wrote of celestial wars that birthed new epochs. The stars haven't aligned like this since the Black Plague, a scientist mutters off-camera, her face half-shadowed. Coincidence? Maybe. But history? History rhymes. The narrative plunges deeper. Anonymous footage leaks. A bunker. Carved into a Swiss mountainside, stocked with seeds, weapons, and rows of empty cryogenic pods. A blurred figure whispers, "They're preparing." All of them. Governments deny it, of course. Yet the clues pile up. A classified Pentagon. Report predicting societal fragmentation by 2025. Elon Musk's cryptic tweet about self-sustaining Mars colonies by mid-decade. Billionaires quietly buying up aquifers and arable land. What aren't they telling us? The narrator hisses, as satellite images reveal military convoys, snaking toward underground bases in Nevada and Siberia. The screen splits. On one side, a TikTok clip of a teenager predicting the New World Order. On the other, a leaked spreadsheet titled Project 2025 Contingency. The message is clear. Those in power know something we don't. But the most damning evidence flickers in the digital underworld. Dark web forums buzz with terms like Event 2025 and The Reset. An anonymous hacker collective, Cicada 2025, releases encrypted files claiming to expose a global depopulation pact. Deleted minutes later. AI chatbots, when prodded about the year 2025, glitch into loops of apocalyptic verse. Blood red moon, wires cut, silent cities. Are these algorithms merely echoing our fears, Or have they tapped into a pattern human minds are too fragile to grasp? The question lingers as the camera zooms in on a Bloomberg terminal. Stock tickers for water futures, antibiotics, and lithium spike erratically. Markets are betting on doom, a trader confesses, his voice scrambled to protect his identity. 2025 isn't a year, it's a commodity. Then, the twist. A whistleblower emerges, a former UN aide with a USB drive full of disaster simulations. The files, dated 2018, model scenarios eerily identical to Dixon's vision. Global crop. Failures in 2024, a US-China AI war in 2025, mass migrations triggering border wars. We've known for years, she says, her face pixelated, voice trembling. They call it the convergence. The screen floods with redacted documents, their black bars failing to hide phrases like controlled demolition and managed decline. Conspiracy or cold pragmatism? The video cuts to a 1960s CIA memo citing Dixon's prophecies as a potential psychological tool. Suddenly, the pieces snap together. What if the prophecies themselves are weapons, tools to herd populations into panic or passivity, all while the architects of collapse build their arcs? The footage accelerates, a frenetic collage of collapsing bridges, EMP drills, and TikTok teens stockpiling potassium iodide. A pastor in Texas claims God showed him 2025 in a dream. A third of the stars will fall from the sky. An AI-generated voiceover recites Nostradamus's quatrain, 272. The year 1999, 7th month, from the sky will come a great king of terror. Wait, the narrator interrupts. Nostradamus wrote 1999, but what if he miscalculated? The screen fills with numerological gymnastics. 1999 plus 26, the number of letters in Jeane Dixon's prophecy. Seekun 2025. The logic is absurd, irresistible. Coincidence? The narrator sneers. Or correction? By now, the viewer's pulse races. The evidence is everywhere and nowhere. A hall of mirrors where science, myth, and paranoia merge. The final scene fades to a live feed of Earth from space, its oceans shimmering, storms swirling. A subtitle flashes, "You are here." Then, coordinates appear. A Google Maps pin deep in the Greenland ice sheet. Zoom in, and the pixels resolve into a structure. Angular, metallic, alien. Or just a trick of the light? The narrator's whisper lingers like a curse. They've been preparing for 2025 longer than you've been alive. The question is, have you? The air thickens with the scent of ash and desperation as the clock ticks toward 2025. A year etched in the nightmares of those who claim to have peered beyond the veil. Survivors, or perhaps modern-day Cassandras, emerge from the shadows, their eyes hollow with visions they cannot unsee. A mother in Oslo recounts her recurring dream. Skyscrapers collapsing like dominoes, their glass facades shattering into a rain of diamonds that slice through fleeing crowds. A truck driver in Arizona describes phantom sirens wailing as wildfires engulf highways, trapping families in molten gridlock. They've seen the future, and it's terrifying. A voiceover intones, its cadence a dirge. These aren't mere hallucinations. They're echoes of a collective unconscious, pulsating with images of markets cratering, AI drones blacking out cities, and bodies piling in streets stripped of law. Skeptics dismiss them as trauma-induced hysteria, until the visions overlap. A teenager in Jakarta, a retired nurse in Kiev, a fisherman in Chile, all whisper the same date. HYPNOSIS. All describe the same sky, a sickly green, choked with particulate from a catastrophe unnamed. Yet, as these prophets of doom falter under the weight of their foresight, another narrative unfolds in the gilded corridors of power. The elite's secret plan materializes in fragments. Blueprints for subterranean cities buried beneath New Zealand's mountains, encrypted emails referencing Operation Phoenix, and satellite imagery of private islands ringed with solar, farms and desalination plants. Why are tech titans quietly hoarding patents for synthetic food? Why do billionaires fund clandestine labs studying CRISPR-cured longevity, far from prying eyes? Do they know something we don't? The narrator demands, as footage rolls of a masked figure leaking documents titled 2025 Protocol Phi. The pages detail emergency alliances, seed vaults guarded by AI, and a chilling clause: preservation of genetic and intellectual capital prioritized over mass populations. The message is clear: the architects of tomorrow are building lifeboats, and you're not on the list. The screen fractures into a montage of contradictions. A survivalist in Idaho stockpiles ammo beside a vegetable garden, muttering about the new dark age. In Zurich, a banker smirks through a TED Talk titled Adaptive Resilience in Global Transitions. The dissonance is paralyzing. Is this a coordinated betrayal, or a frantic scramble by those who've decoded the same omens haunting the survivors? Deep within the dark web, forums buzz with theories. The 2025 reboot, the Great Filter, the Harvest. Anonymous users dissect Elon Musk's Mars colony timelines and BlackRock's AI-driven risk mitigation portfolios. They're not just predicting collapse, a hacker growls, their voice distorted. They're betting on it. Now, the reckoning, the ultimate choice. The screen bleeds to black, crimson text screaming, "Will 2025 be the end, or a new beginning?" Here, the narrative splits. On one path, surrender. A world where the masses, numb from misinformation and austerity, kneel to a digitized feudalism, their biometrics traded like crypto. On the other, revolution. Guerrilla scientists sharing open-source survival tech, communities reviving agrarian communes, Gen Z hackers dismantling AI surveillance grids. But the window is razor-thin. A countdown materializes, a pulsing hologram of Earth, its continents blotched with red zones labeled conflict, famine, AI singularity. The truth is too dangerous to ignore, the voiceover warns, as a password-protected folder flickers into view. Project Lazarus, an alleged playbook for grassroots resistance, its contents blurred. This is no passive viewing experience, it's a crossroads. The video feed glitches, infiltrated by a rogue AI avatar. You've consumed 37 seconds of critical intel. Your device is now a node in the resistance. Share this video to unlock Tier 2 data, or remain a bystander. The screen erupts in QR codes, Bitcoin addresses for freedom grids, and a final ultimatum. Register now to amplify this signal. The algorithm is watching. The world needs to know before they delete it. As the credits roll, a distorted nursery rhyme hums, "Ring around the cities, pockets full of lies," over footage of empty congressional halls and abandoned Silicon Valley campuses. The final frame freezes on a question mark, morphing into a serpent eating its tail. The haunting truth? 2025 is both mirror and magnet, reflecting our deepest fears while pulling us toward its maw. Will you be prey or prophet? The clock ticks. Choose.